guys. I feel like I have to jump for a second just to like feel loosened up. You guys are all wearing black, and I'm from the West Coast, so you're kind of a little intimidating. I need like some red and some yellow just to feel a little bit better. Anyway, hi, I'm Ellen, the founder of Headley & Bennett. It says Millennial in my title, and I would just like to say that I am an old soul with a millennial approach to the world. I started my company when I was 25. I just turned 29. Yay. And my approach was definitely very different and unusual, which is why we were really excited to share some of my hustle and 2 tips for you guys. When I started this company, I was a line cook. I was, making $10 an hour, getting my, excuse my French, for the next 20 minutes, you're gonna hear bad words, I'm sorry. I was getting my ass handed to me every day, working super freaking hard, and had no sense of community in the kitchen. And I thought, holy shit, we're making some of the most beautiful food in Los Angeles, and we literally all look and feel terrible. Why is this the case? And I'm also a runner, and I was like, well, but when I run, I look awesome in my fucking Nike outfit. I want to look like that in the kitchen. And so I thought if there was some way to take that and plug it into the kitchen world and make people feel and sort of be like, I'm awesome. I can do this no matter who I am in the kitchen, no matter if I'm a lowly line cook or I'm the top of the restaurant, I'm going to be a badass one day, or I am already a badass and I look and feel like one. So Headley & Bennett was born. Green, big one. Hi. Okay, so my approach to all of my social media was extremely grassroots. Why? We had no investors, we had no funding. I had an idea, I had aprons. I wanted to make the world a happier, better place with my aprons. How was I gonna do that? The only thing I had was my phone. And I thought, how am I gonna contact people? How am I gonna get out there? And this is where the old soul lady part of me comes out. So I started going to food events. I started talking to people. I would meet a chef and I'd be like, hi, what's your name? Oh, that's so cool. And we'd be cooking on the line. I'd be like, oh, can I come visit you tomorrow? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I would actually show up and be like, I didn't think you were actually coming. But it was very much like real world community. And then I would combine it with social media. So I started going to all these different restaurants and documenting the whole damn experience. I didn't have any followers of any kind, but I would, take trips and go to New York and be like, David Chang, I'm gonna come visit you. Okay, and I like storm into the restaurant, be like, I am here to show you my aprons. And then, he got on the apron squad, and it was a really huge deal for me. And so then there was a photo of David and I on my Instagram. And, line cooks in LA and line cooks in Chicago were like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. She's wearing an apron with David Chang, and that means something. And every time I did little tiny things like that, it wasn't from a perspective of bragging, which I think that a lot of companies sometimes use social media as like, look at me, I'm so awesome. And you're like, chill the fuck out. And so it was more of an approach of like, oh my God, we just did something so awesome. You gotta see this. And then everybody would be like, good job, you got this, girl. So we started creating this community with people that we didn't even know from all over the United States. And if you take that approach in your own business, no matter how much of a budget you have, it's amazing the power of that, because that's so much more real than like, we have a discount on our products this week. And you're like, oh, shut up, like, I don't care. But if you're like, oh my God, we made extra and this is so awesome, you gotta get this one because I just wore it last week on the line and Vink, then people are like, okay, cool, yes, I wanna get in on that. So I'm talking about being real. Being really, really real. And identifying yourself as a person, even though you are a business. So in my case, I was my business. I was my brand. I was everything. So I sort of had to do that. But as a huge company, if you take that approach, it's so much more awesome for everyone involved, because they're like, that's a real person behind that company. And there's really amazing companies. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Glossier. It's awesome. It's based in New York. You identify with the founder. You're like, hell yeah, I'm going to wear your foundation, because you get up and you get on the subway every day just like everybody else does. And there's something so real and tangible about opening up and showing the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of business. And we now work with over 4,000 restaurants and hotels in the US. And I look at a lot of these brands that we work with, and there's such amazing stories ingrained into every single day, into everything that they do, but they're not showing them. So I feel like it's really important to figure out how do you humanize your very fancy brand into a person, create an identity. Real versus fake. This, I think, is really important to the millennial, the old soul millennial. You know, when you're talking to someone and they're just bragging about the things that they've done or talking about how excited they are about their next achievement and like just going on a rampage about all those sorts of things, you kind of get lost. You don't really want to listen. You're bored. You're like, oh, stop. So I think it's very, very, very important to figure out who are you? What does it mean? How are you going to be? And own it and stick to it. And if you're like, I'm all about community and I want to change the world, then actually get out there and change the world and be all about community and do the part. Don't just like be a big corporate brand that says, we're so fancy and we care all about green. And then, you know, they're like throwing plastic bottles into the regular trash cans. Like, it's all kinds of little things that build up the big picture. So that, again, is part of the community building. One of the huge things that we developed along the journey of all this, because I was, again, the brand, was how do we look? What do we stand for? You might have this, you might not. It might be some document that you threw in the back of your car. This is really important. It's huge because it means, what are your favorite colors? What do you love? What does your restaurant stand for? What does your hotel mean? How do you want people to feel when they walk into your room? I want them to feel excited. I want them to feel sexy. I want them to feel beautiful. I want them to feel like a badass. Each one of those feelings is totally different. And if your entire team is not on the same damn page, it's not going to happen. So you need to get people to believe in the same thing and get everybody streamlined. So we created a brand guide. It goes, obviously we love colors. I'm reining it in on the color department today. I didn't get so crazy because I was like, it's New York and Taylor, black, Helmut Lang, don't do it. But so you identify what colors you want. What do you want people to look like? What do you want people to dress like? How do you want people to be treated? When you walk into our apron factory in Los Angeles, everyone is greeted with a hug and ice cream by McConnell's. It is just what we do, and I want people to feel that. And it doesn't matter who walks into that building. It could be the president. We're still going to hug him and give him ice cream. And so there's those little things that we cultivated into our brand guide because we wanted warmth and comfort and hominess and welcomeness, and that translates into your social media. So when you go onto our social media, it's Hedley and Bennett, or Ellen the Apron Lady, you feel warmth, you feel happiness. You look at it and you're like, whoa, that's cool. These guys are nice. They're friendly. They're going to make me feel included, and I like that. And that is, if you think about it, brand goes into everything. It's the people that work for you. It's your social media. It's your letters. It's your emails to people. When people are hired at Hedley and Bennett and they send out a very corporate email, I'm like, rein it in. No, put more exclamation marks. What's going on? We don't work at AT&T. And so we start making people be part of our brand. But if you think about it, it's those little things. Like, I very much admire the Four Seasons because when you're walking down the hallways there, anybody is like, oh, hello, Mrs. Bennett or Miss Bennett. And the fact that some random person in the hallway knows my name means so much, and that sticks with me more than anything else that happens in the entire time of the hotel stay. So let's say you order a product from somebody, and then you post a photo about it, and then they upload it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you got your apron on time, and it's awesome. And then there's a person jumping in the apron, and then you respond. You just like created an entire little community. You made a little web. And social media is basically about being Charlotte's Web. You want to just get your web out there as far as possible. And that's what we did with Hedley and Bennett. With very, very, very little resources, we kept spreading that web by being like, oh, awesome, where do you work? Cool, that's so fun. Here, I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Awesome. And then we just stayed in touch. You comment, you have to engage, you have to talk to people, but not just talk on the internet, in your phone. You actually have to be part of a real community outside of the internet. And that's something else that we do a lot with Hedley and Bennett. The H&B way. So we have this big giant factory that you guys saw at the beginning. We throw cookbook parties. We get together with bloggers. We find people that we are like, you are part of our tribe. Let's get together. Let's be friends. And then all kinds of beautiful things come out of it. Don't treat it so much like a transaction. Like, be real. People would way rather hang out with somebody who's like their friend as opposed to, I have to go to a meeting with this guy and he's so boring. Like, you don't want to be that guy that someone's talking about. You want to be a nice human because you're a nice human with your friends. Why can't you be friends with your worker people, with everybody? Be friendly, for God's sake. Okay, sorry, it's true. We've broken down a lot of corporate people to be our friends, and it's awesome because they love life way more because of it. So, back to the H&B way. You develop your own voice. We have a very unusual voice. It's not your standard everyday activity. Let's say you're a giant hotel and you're the owner and you have 5,000 employees. You're not going to be able to do this on your own. How do you scale this? How does that work? I'll tell you how we did it. When we were out hunting for the perfect unicorn social media team, we were like, all right, we need somebody who's going to eat, breathe, sleep Headley and Bennett, that loves what we do and that really believes it. So when we started interviewing people, we asked them several questions, and I'm going to tell you. We asked them, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? And we made sure that we found people that had similar goals to ours, and people that had like great resumes and amazing talks and whatever, but didn't have mutual goals as ours. We said no, because when you have a staff that loves what you're doing and wants to do that, you get way further in life than if they're like, oh, I'm just here because it's a good paying job. And one for one, every person we've ever interviewed, because we work in an apron factory where our customer service works in a treehouse, everybody was like, I want to work in a place where I am loved and where I'm happy and where I feel good and I'm part of a really beautiful team. Every single person said that. Every single person wanted to be a part of a community, which is the community that we're building on the internet and off the internet. So when you're hiring this person, you need to find somebody that has that ethos, because their job on social media is to build your community and your tribe. And maybe your community isn't going to be Roy G. Biv, red, yellow, orange, green, blue, crazy people jumping, wearing aprons, but your tribe is out there and you've got to find them. So this person needs to be with that mentality. You need to really, really, really make sure that this person actually knows how to take photos. How do you vet them on that? We ask them to copyright for us, so we have them do a blog post before they even come into the office. We have them caption several photos that we provide, and then we ask them to make some photos of certain products that we give them, and for them to do the captions on that. Then you're really seeing it from your perspective, from their perspective, a little bit of a writing piece, and you get to know them. Also, look at their Instagram. What does it look like? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it okay? If they're telling you that they studied photography and their Instagram is terrible and blurry, it's not going to work. So when you get this person on your bandwagon, that's the time the light will come shining through. It's going to be awesome. We took that moment when we found this person and we made them our brand manager and social media manager. So it was brand and social media jammed into the same person. Why? Because they're protecting your brand. They're making sure that your brand is what you are. In this case, I was the brand. How was I going to hand myself over to somebody? I needed somebody who could mimic and understand and be me. So when I found them, I was able to hand this off. But the beautiful thing about this is, even if you have a huge company, you can do this on so many different levels. So we started this person, her name is Diane, so I can stop calling her that. Diane started working with our team to cultivate even more inside the team. So we have our shipping department, our packaging, our sewing, every single area is now very involved in our social media. So they're showing behind the scenes images of things that happen every day in the factory. They send them to her, she uploads the content. She constantly has them do Snapchat takeovers where you can have different people log into your Snapchat account or in this case, Instagram stories, and you can document different things from different perspectives. How awesome would it be to be able to see the inside of what's happening in NASA on a regular day? Like, oh, here's some astronauts, they're hanging out, and this guy's drinking coffee, and that guy's over there, and they're getting ready to launch this rocket. But the inside is really cool, and everybody loves that. That's why we all love reality TV. So we started doing that, and people love it. People love behind the scenes. It's really exciting to see what it actually takes to run a company every day, because everybody knows that what you see on Instagram isn't necessarily reality. So when you show a little glimpse of reality in a cool, awesome way and you document it, people feel even more a part of your community. And then they want to be more involved with you, and they want to be more engaged, and they want to come to your restaurant, and they want to stand where that girl stood and took that selfie of that donut. They want to do it too, because they're like, that's where it is. I love that. I wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of the apps that we use, a couple of them. A Color Story is an incredible app that is so easy to use. It makes your photos look vibrant, beautiful, white. They're awesome. Snapseed is another one. This is by Google. ViscoCam is another one. They all have really great filters. And Schedugram is the app that our team uses to upload all the different photos. Anytime I'm out and I'm getting inspired by something, I'll send it to our social media team, and they will upload it and schedule it, and they work about 3 weeks out. So they have everything already planned, and then sometimes they have slots where we will squeeze in moments of stuff that's happening that day. Follow us on our apron adventures. So we have 2 minutes. I was like mega crash course, but if you guys have any questions, give them to me. Anybody? Oh, and there's microphones somewhere. I don't know. Yes. Yes.
How many people did you interview before you found the person who was your person?
We hired 3 and had them on a trial run, and it was on the 4th one. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say the first 2 were pretty solid, but they didn't have the same goals as us. So then we later realized, okay, we need to make sure. One of them really wanted to shoot, the one that's with us now really wanted to do video and documentary type things, so it was perfect. We're like, awesome, we're gonna give you the platform. We're essentially gonna fund you learning this. Come join our bandwagon. Yeah. Yes?
Well, maybe what's the trajectory for you to, for you to hit kind of the followers that you're at now? Like, was it a slow start? Did it take off? Did you have like peaks and valleys? Or how did you kind of build that?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely started off with not very many, of course. Teaming up with a lot of people that we met out in the world, bloggers, and they were very much on the same page as us. So they were our people, they were our tribe. So anytime we did an event with them, or a brunch, or a lunch, or a dinner, and they tagged us, we would definitely see a spike of several hundred people at once. And if you start to do that frequently, in the case of like hotels, restaurants, there's so many opportunities for you to invite them into your space and say, like, let's do a dinner together, invite your friends over, let's make it awesome. And you will get so much traction just from that one event, because everyone is seeing everybody posting and like, oh, we're all eating at Marta. This is awesome. And oh, now we're over here, and now I'm in the kitchen. So that was a really huge way that we spiked our different, yeah. Also, to answer your second part of the question, was it took us about a year and a half to really start to be in the like 10s and 20s and 30,000, 40, 50,000s, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, amazing. Well, have a lovely day. I hope you learned some stuff. Thank you for having me.